PHFA provides capital for safe, decent, and affordable homes for our Commonwealth's older adults, persons of modest means, and people with special housing needs. We work with housing counseling agencies, local lending institutions, realtors, and other public and private organizations to expand and protect homeownership and stabilize urban neighborhoods. The PHFA Comprehensive Housing Counseling Initiative supports the delivery of a wide variety of tools and housing counseling services to homebuyers, homeowners, and low to moderate income renters who want to become homeowners. Counselors, empowered through PHFA's programs and services, provide guidance and advice to help families and individuals improve their housing conditions and meet the responsibility of homeownership. Types of counseling and educational services offered include pre-purchase counseling and education, pre-closing counseling, one-on-one counseling assessment, anti-predatory lending, foreclosure prevention counseling, and default and delinquency counseling services. After the mortgage meltdown, the government improved consumer protection laws to prevent this travesty from reoccurring. Unscrupulous mortgage lenders and practitioners were shut down for their reckless lending practices. Today, national standards require additional training and certification in the mortgage industry for realtors, appraisers, loan originators, title search companies, and housing counselors. To revitalize the housing market and bolster Pennsylvania's economy, it's vital that PHFA's trained housing counseling agencies effectively and consistently deliver pre-purchase counseling and foreclosure counseling to Commonwealth consumers. To objectively measure our effectiveness, PHFA hired an independent consultant, the BBH Group. They conducted a qualitative analysis and reviewed the PHFA housing counseling standards associated with the pre-purchase housing and foreclosure intervention counseling services. We sought out anonymous participants who had the freedom to select an agency of their choice. The project outcomes were focused on the following benchmarks: if the PHFA housing counseling standards were met, if the tools introduced in the PHFA various training sessions are being utilized, and how the client felt about the counseling services provided. Philadelphia and Pittsburgh were our targeted markets because they have the highest concentration of PHFA loan originations in the Commonwealth. Participants were selected through a series of marketing venues, local radio, and newspapers. Participants had to be 21 years or older, reside in Pennsylvania within target counties, and be interested in purchasing a home, retaining a home, or achieving other financial goals. Participants registered for plenary meetings in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh. At the plenary meetings, participants signed waivers prepared by the BBH Group. They received a counseling agency list, participant guidelines, a description of the counseling session process, and received instructions on what should be required and covered when completing a counseling session.
Our goal is to follow you for the next 6 months to see exactly what happens and to provide you with some ongoing support and to measure the outcomes, because one of the important things in this environment is to see ultimately how do these services serve the needs of the consumer.
Following the plenary meetings, participants were to contact a PHFA housing counseling agency, set up an appointment, and complete the counseling session within 2 weeks of the plenary meeting.
I just went through the list. They said you come in 2 days from the day I called, and went in there and they were very thorough too.
I went to the best because it didn't cost me nothing.
And now I'm on a basis with her to get me out of this credit jam I'm in within 1 year.
He got into the next step and he provided me different options to get my money, to get my loan.
Does anyone else want to talk about their experiences with the counselor?
I had no idea how to write a letter to a creditor. And she gave me a copy of a letter to show me how to write a letter that I would have done it all wrong.
I had a credit report before, and I looked through those pages and I put that paper down. I couldn't understand that one thing that was on it, and now I understand. I thank her for that.
After completing the counseling session, participants called a toll-free number to confirm their attendance and schedule a post-counseling survey. a BBH Group interviewer examined qualitative and quantitative aspects of the provision of services provided utilizing consumer reaction survey tools.
Is it practical? Does it really impact you? Does it add value? Process without intended results doesn't help anybody.
The results of the survey show that over 80% of the counselors verify income and expenses, provided the necessary technical assistance required to resolve the client's housing and financial issues, and referred the clients to an outside agency for additional assistance. The outcome of the counselor's advice was a resounding success for the clients. 94% of the clients said they would return to their agency for additional services, and 100% of the clients said that the services provided by the counselor helped them reach their goals or objectives. All of the clients felt that the services they received would be a benefit to other family members or friends. Consumers who received counseling services gave feedback about the strengths and weaknesses of the housing counseling program.
I intend to buy my first house, and this provides many valuable information for me and save me a lot of time.
At my age now, 62, I would like to try to get my credit together, especially with my retirement pretty soon.
I'd like to see my husband and I purchasing a home.
I want to buy a house.
I was basically in the dark about this credit situation. I was thinking I had bad credit, and the only thing I had was just back child support.
I was living above my means, which I know I was.
But do you know what your means are?
My pay, I wasn't a budgeting person.
Yes.
I just, okay, I gotta pay this cable bill. I'm gonna pay the electric bill, and I won't pay this one this month. People can come to me and say,
Yes.
oh, I just need $25. And I have to learn to say, look, I can't do it this time. I just can't do it.
For 30 days, you could write down every place, every cent of where your money goes. It's quite a revelation for your own words and your own notes to come back up and say, wow, I gave $25 5 times in the last 30
And
days.
that's a bill.
And that's
a bill.
a bill.
Yes.
She gave me an action plan and everything, and wrote down a list of things and showed me how to start working on different one at a time and how to budget every month. Just take $10 money orders and just put them away, every pay, which you'll spend on your little cigarettes or, that's where I'm at right now. And I already got $20 saved up.
One day, I kept all my lottery tickets, and I added it up, and it was $800.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to eliminate the lotteries. I'm going to cut down, way down on going out, spending and buying things that I really don't need.
If you can't have cable right now, go buy you some movies. If you can get you some movies, look at those movies until you can afford it.
I lost a house, and I can't even begin to tell you what I went through. And had I known that this program was out there, I could have still had my house today.
It's not what you know, it's who you know and where to go. And if you don't know nobody or don't know where to go, then you lost.
The PHFA has presented many options for me to consider how to meet my long-term financial goals.
And I'm going to take advantage of it, share the information with family and friends.
I said, well, I had a house, I lost my house. So they said, well, that don't mean you can't get another one.
I appreciate it, I really do, because it really pulling me out from where I was. And I'm on my way out of this mess. Thank you.
Our study was intended to identify strengths and/or efficiencies in the manner in which our counseling agencies provide services. We will offer the counselors training to encourage their strengths and build effectiveness to help Commonwealth consumers become and remain successful homeowners.
How do you feel now, having gone through this process? If you were to talk with your friends or your other family members about what your experiences were, how do you communicate that, or have you communicated that, or will you?
That's the first thing. My son and daughter have grown kids, and they're in that age, 21, 28, and I'm telling them how to prepare for it now. Go to these sessions and sit down whenever they're available to you. There's a lot of them available in the community.
My motto now is, I have nothing for you, and you have nothing coming. Because when you're looking for it, you know, back, you don't get it.
Yeah.
And now you're in a situation where I I know I have $25 coming Friday.
Exactly.
Right.
So you're adding that on, you know, and it doesn't show up. Now what you gonna do?
You could see things on TV and call this counselor and call that, and most of them was a bunch of hype.
Okay, I had a bad experience. And I can learn from that experience, get my credit in order, and I'll try again. But this time I'll try with the knowledge of knowing who can help me.